Hey, if that's Steve, please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon. Click on subscribe. It's 100% free. Blood in, blood out. And don't forget to click on the notifications just so you don't miss any amazing content. We're in part 2, a very interesting discussion from this panel of people. Let's go.
How many kids a man has, as long as he's financially stable, he can date any woman he wants. It's not the.
I knew it was coming. I knew that was coming.
He's so predictable with that.
How am I predictable? It's the
But
truth.
because your statement
like
always
If
bring back to I got the money, I got money, I got
That's
money,
my
I got
job.
money, I got money. But here's the thing, I'm gonna stop right there. Take it away. Say God forbid tomorrow you have nothing. Then what do you have left? How are you valuable to me?
how? Wait a minute.
Take it away.
I'm finna take it
You
away.
have nothing. Take it
I'm
away.
finna take it away.
Take it
Watch
away,
this.
child.
See, when women get their back against the wall, this is the type of shit they do. They go to. Oh, let me speak.
Question.
Jesus.
Yell again.
You need them. You got
Man, I'm sitting here listening to y'all, and every time I
him
speak,
talk.
y'all cut me off. Can I please speak?
That's how you did me last week though. There you go. Have a great day. Go ahead, finish your
Go ahead,
statement.
finish.
I don't even want to go speak no more. Y'all go ahead.
Go ahead, finish
No,
your
go ahead,
statement. I want to
bro.
hear what you got to say.
No,
I want to hear what you got to say.
No, I ain't got nothing to say. Go ahead. I'm gonna let you.
I'm, you
back against the wall
you
right now.
because you the financial guy.
back against
You
the
the
wall.
guy.
My back
It's
is
your
not
back
against
against
the
the
wall.
wall.
Y'all not
Because
gonna let
now
me speak.
you always piggyback to finances. I have money. I have money. Take it away.
Okay.
How are you valuable?
How am I?
got his mind.
Hold on. No. I'm gonna tell you in the dough. Money matters when it comes to a man. My job is to protect and provide. Okay. If I can't do those two things to start with, I am not a man. It start with protecting and providing. Then obviously it comes with all the other shit. But let's be honest, ladies. A man can have all this integrity and all this shit y'all talking about. If he's broke, you not gonna with him. So stop the cap.
Facts.
So
Stop
if
it.
you my man and you have nothing, you have no money.
Let's answer the question directly. Listen, if he doesn't have any money and she doesn't have any money, do we think that either of those people should have kids at all? Yes or no? He doesn't have money, she doesn't have money. For me, it's a definite no. Right. She doesn't have money, he does have money. Depends how much money he's got and whether it's going to be some kind of struggle life. But even without that, if they can get past the minimum and they got kind of foundations and ambitions for that child and a little bit of intelligence and they got the time and the insights in order to support them effectively, it becomes about more than the couple, it becomes about the child. So if they still have enough for that child, yeah, they're going to have to sacrifice for that child. My gosh, God forbid. Then absolutely fine. If she has money and he doesn't have money, apart from the very isolated exceptions, it's probably not going to happen at all anyway. Very few cases where women of whatever income level have any intention of supporting a man. You know, it kind of goes against nature. And they're not going to respect a man necessarily. And I'm not talking about everybody, I'm just talking about the majority. So basically, because we're talking about the majority, it's just not going to happen. I think what she's trying to say is, what use is a man if he kind of loses his job? It depends on the circumstances why he lost it. Say if it's not his fault, well, in sickness and in health, because he should be your husband before he's your baby father, number one. So as long as he's got that drive and commitment to get another job, well, he's doing everything that he can. And if he's not, well, then we're getting into the kind of the zone. This is a stupid question anyway, because I don't even know where it comes from. It comes in that zone of, is his lack of ambition a complete kind of surprise to you? Or where you just focus on non-intrinsic qualities in that man at the beginning, and people need to be honest. Because a lot of people just meet by hooking up at the club. Or a lot of people just meet because somebody's just particularly attractive. And we just got to think about what the guy said earlier about, there's people who are below average. Let's just say 2, 3 out of 10. I don't believe many people are 2 or 3 out of 10s. I don't think I've met a 2 or 3 out of 10. But anyway, but they're still aiming for 8 or 9 out of 10 level men. You know what I mean? So all things considered, it just depends on that. The real focus should not be on his money per se. It should be one of the variable factors, absolutely, in terms of whether he's suitable to be a partner first and then have the potential to be a father. And until you as a household can sustain a family, then you should be having a kid. And that's where your mindset should really be at. But then when it gets tough, guess what? You've both got to step up, because every single day and every single week, every year that child gets older, it's getting more and more independent. So not one of those two parents needs to be sitting at home doing nothing You know what I mean? You both got to contribute. It's about that. That's what the focus should be. And let's go.
How are you valuable to me?
At what age are we talking? Your age
don't
right now?
matter.
It does matter
It
because
don't
if you're
matter.
young, both of y'all supposed to be broke. You're
It don't
young.
matter. Right now.
Okay.
Yep.
Why would you be dating a man at 40-some years old with nothing?
Right now,
Let's start there.
You the one always.
I'm
piggybacking
asking you a
my
question.
answers. You still have not answered my question.
And the question is what?
You answered it.
Say it again so I can answer it one more time.
Ask
Jesus
one more
Christ.
time.
Crazy.
I don't
You
understand.
have nothing. How
Okay.
are you valuable to me?
Okay, so you saying if you meet a man off the back,
You have nothing. How are you valuable?
But see, that's the
what
thing.
I'm saying is
Sabrina,
this.
he's not.
Hold on, butter. Because she keeps saying if you have nothing, what is the circumstance? Is you talking about you with a man?
I said
Would
it
you let me
75
speak?
times.
Jesus Christ.
Because you keep asking the question, what am I talking about?
Because
Can
you
I
say
help?
Piggyback on
because you
finances.
Can I
listen
help?
for a
Oh,
second.
your whole
Can I
argument
hold on.
is
Can I- That's
finances.
crazy. Okay.
You have nothing.
Okay.
You have
Can the doctor help?
finance,
Once
no money.
I
How
understand what you're
valuable?
saying, but you're not listening to me because you keep saying nothing. You have to put what you're saying in context. Are you saying I'm a man that was with you that fell off, or are you saying I'm a man that you met off initially and I ain't
No,
got shit? What is the scenario?
Listen, okay, so what Sabrina is saying, if you're a man coming into a relationship with her and you have no financial stability, nothing to offer, what is it that you can offer her
Nothing.
as a man? Because we're saying that because you always piggyback on finances.
Yes.
What if you didn't have finances to offer? How are you valuable to a woman with no finances?
First of all, if you 40 years old and you ain't got no money, you are not valuable. You're a piece of shit. That's number one. And number two, why would you be dating a man 40-some years old that ain't got shit?
You got
This is what I'm trying. No,
questions?
answer the question.
No, but-
this is what I'm saying. You
but-
keep talking about.
but let me help y'all.
Y'all don't. Y'all all over the place.
Okay.
Because he done answered the question like 4 or 5 different times.
The reason why he feel that way comes from women. That mindset that
But
he
don't be
has.
vague. You're going to have to break
It don't
that
come
down.
from nothing.
No,
Our
hold
job is to protect
No,
and provide for our
I
family.
get
How does that come from women?
I get that because of how women are. Because of how y'all are.
What do you mean?
Okay, if you had millions of women that didn't care about you having some money, he wouldn't think that way, right?
What?
I'm a little off.
What-
basically,
He lost me
y'all-
now. He lost me with that
So
one.
you're trying to make it's not about leading with money. It's about doing your job as a man. It has nothing. You keep making it seem like, oh, I got money. That's the end all be all. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a man should be financially stable before he enters a relationship because your job starts with protecting and providing for your family. If you cannot do that, you don't need to be in no damn relationship. It's just that simple.
True from this
You need to
world.
get yourself
Bree just
together.
asked you if you had
From
none of
this
that to
world, from
offer,
this
then
society.
how
You shouldn't be dating if you ain't got that.
Okay.
Why are you even dating if you ain't got no damn money?
What
That
is-
makes no sense to me.
what
So
is
again, that
financial
means you're leading with
stability?
money.
You're not leading with money. You're fulfilling your duty as a man.
Right. Different strokes.
Even if a man entered a relationship and he didn't have any money whatsoever, that relationship is not going to last. Right? It's not going to last. It's destined to fail because that woman is going to have a breaking point where she is just going to get up and leave. Okay. She is going to leave and move on to a man with money. Okay. We all know about hypergamy, especially if she's working, she has things going on. She's not going to stick with a dude that has no money whatsoever and she's fully taking care of all the bills, protecting and providing. Like, it's just a recipe for disaster. It really is.
That you come in contact with, you leading with.
Just a second. Listen, he can date without having any money. That's absolutely fine for him. He hasn't got no body clock. You know what I mean? He could do that for the next 30, 40, 50 years, whatever, until his last day on earth. Most of the time. Absolutely fine. But she can't afford to waste that time. So she allows him to waste her time in her prime years. This is the thing that these ladies should be talking about. You know what I mean? From lived experience. But they're getting, honestly, it's my community we're talking about here. We're focused on the wrong things, and that's why we keep repeating mistakes. So that's why I'm doing my channel, to at least put my kind of food for thought forwards. And it's very similar to what Kevin was saying. I learned from the amalgamation of the best, and he was probably the king. You know what I'm saying? So I don't agree with everything he did, most in terms of his style, but a lot of the message wasn't very far off. For this, the ladies need to be focused on intrinsic qualities, including whether that man has the money to sustain a family, and if he's not there yet, don't start a family. You know what I mean? You've got the control, you've got protection, and you've got the things that come after if a mistake is made. But if you decide to take it on, and that comes down to the woman, because a man doesn't have a say, then they've got to bear the brunt of that themselves. Unfortunately, now, I don't want to get torn into, they're bailed out. They're bailed out by the state, they're bailed out by benefits, and they're bailed out by forcing a man to commit to something that he might not necessarily have ever agreed to. So that's what I think needs to change. But this is a situation that we got. That's what that guy was trying to say, especially in relation to, listen, if that man's got nothing, what you even doing entertaining him? What you even doing, especially having a child with him? But again, if you take that on, which is what is a definite mistake, and shows a lack of assessing the true intrinsic qualities of the man. And that maybe comes back to who taught her. You know, was her daddy involved in her life as a child, or what the hell was her mum telling her? You know what I mean? So these are failures, repeated failures of just a lack of focus, as we can see from this panel. Anyway, let's go.
A man's job is to provide, to protect, and also to be present. Now, I don't got the money, but I'm in the house with you. I still got my mind. I can get the money back. It ain't always, for me, it's not always about the money for me. Because everything everything that is about me that's value has nothing to do with the money, got everything to do with my character. So if my character is intact and my mind is intact, the money is going, it can come back always. But if I'm there to support you, to help you, to be present, to protect you, and be present in your life, it's more ways that I can help you than just with money.
I hear what he's saying when he's talking about the character of a man. I will agree with him, okay, the intangibles. But unfortunately, when it comes to these modern women, okay, they're not viewing it that way. Okay, it's all about the money. We've seen it time and time again. It comes down to the money, okay? After a while, the money ain't coming in. You don't have a job. You don't have your stuff together. That relationship is on the rocks, okay? It's only a matter of time, unfortunately, before that relationship collapses, okay? As a man, you want to have your stuff together. You want to have no weaknesses as a man. You want to have your finances on point, fitness on point, your health on point, okay? You want to have a mouthpiece on you. You want to be well-read, well-traveled, hobbies, interests, right? You want to have a life full of abundance.
Hold on.
But you asked the question.
Now let's go on with it. Yeah, I agree with Beast Mode completely. Okay, so the guy said something about, yeah, even if I haven't got the money, I've got something in my character. Essentially what he's doing is trying to detract from his role as a man and his failures as a man to put himself in a situation where he can sustain a family. As simple as that. And he should have had that family until he can actually sustain it, which the 5 kids guy was talking about a little bit earlier. Otherwise what happens is he can't sustain it. She can't sustain it, so they've both got faults, if I want to put it in the nice way as possible, so they're bailed out by the state. What happens from that becomes a bigger issue because you've got 2 failed people trying to raise somebody, a little child, to success. They don't even know what success is, which is a very big problem. So that kid's going to have to make it against the odds. But what that also talks about is they're going to live in poverty if she's not working, she's raising the kids, and she's kind of like fitting into that traditional role, and he's not performing any kind of role at all other than that kind of, what was it now? The character role, which does add something, but what it doesn't add is a role model of success. And I say it doesn't shout of structure, you know what I mean, and some kind of intellect which is going to be imparted into this child. You got something which could be absolutely infinitely possible, and we try to turn it into a plank of wood. You know what I mean? It's heartbreaking to think about it for a child. And I'm not talking about anybody specific, but I'm just talking about from potential. We kind of minimizing our potential. That's what I was trying to say. And that cycle needs to stop.
No.
Thank you, Tim.
The question was answered.
You didn't answer the question, no. The reason why we asked Jamal, because Jamal is the one that always jumps to finances. That's his number one go-to. That's the reason why we asked that.
Let me tell you why he does that.
Why you do it?
We sat here before the show started.
Okay.
And we talked about how we grew up.
Right.
The way that he was groomed. Remember the very first episode when I used the water in the cup about how it was that we was groomed and how we were. So if you got a person who you meet him and he's here in his life, all this stuff that's been poured into him. This is who he is. What he was trained to be and who he knows to be is all that he can be, because that's what he was taught. And not only that, he had to learn it on his own. He didn't have a father, so for him to say that, man, I gotta have some money and I gotta be able to provide for my family and I gotta be able to protect my family. Most men feel like that, but a lot of them don't even think like that, because it's like, man, some niggas rely on women. We wasn't raised to be that way though. And that be the issue. When you meet somebody who was trained to, we train our daughters to say no. And men are trained not to accept no. The class come right there, right? Now, if all his life he grew up around hustlers and thugs and pimps and players, this is what he's seen. I seen singing mass. We on the streets, all we did was sold drugs, develop money for ourselves, we made these things. That's about those 3 lies that I told y'all earlier about how Western Hemisphere people were taught. We are our achievements, we are what we know, and we are what others say and think about us. Until you get rid of that, you really don't even know who you really are, truly. He knows who he is because he had to become the person that he is. So just because he don't have money won't make him not be valuable, because he has enough hustle in himself to get the money back. He's still gonna be a protector.
But that's why I said you have to put it in context, because she's saying if you didn't have nothing, and I'm asking her in what situation, are we already together? Was I up and fell off? Or are you talking about a scenario where you meet me at the club, I get your number, and I'm broke? I ain't got shit off top. What's the scenario? You see what I'm saying? That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying.
He's just repeating his point, which he made crystal clear a little bit earlier. Okay, so the speaker before, is basically saying about, the symbolism of the glass of water, said he's had to learn more or less on his own. And he's talking about men raised in households where there isn't a male father figure. They're not raised with that traditional mindset of what their future role is going to be. So they can't be kind of set on that life course. Well, okay, just be what you want to be and not pushed to be able to sustain self and potentially achieve to the point where you can also sustain the family. Okay, so they meet a woman and they assessed in the proper way about intrinsic qualities, but also can it sustain a family? It will be a no, right? And that's where he should fail. And that means that relationship ain't gonna last. Or he goes into a situation with a woman, she does have a child for him, she hasn't kind of had her own selection process. She failed in her role, basically, in terms of the things that she should be looking in terms of long-term, sustainable, protective environment. You don't have that from a random person who can't even sustain themselves. So for that reason also, that woman will ultimately look down on him because he can't sustain a family. And again, that relationship will not sustain. What they're trying to say, which is trying to cover their own backs or kind of justify their own position in this debate and position in their own kind of family kind of setups, is even if they don't have the money, even if they haven't necessarily achieved, even if they haven't planned even if they haven't planned ahead and got that kind of forward-thinking mindset in order to make things happen, they had kids anyway, but they can provide and somehow have affluent, aspiring, successful children. Well, let's hope so. Let's hope so. But statistically, very much not the case. Very much not the case. So there's better ways to do it. And as Kevin Samuels used to say, that's usually going to be from a woman assessing a man in terms of intrinsic quality and also the ability to provide, and a man assessing a woman in terms of how agreeable she is in her femininity and how is she going to interact with these future children. How is she going to interact with me in terms of supporting me? And in terms of supporting me, is just not actually pulling me back with all these bullshit demands about things that don't even matter, these bullshit shiny trinket things and petty arguments, and just taking some pride in their appearance and things like that, especially if you're staying at home all day and you've been at work 30, 40 plus hours. Well, how does that even make sense? So anyway, we don't want communities raised in dysfunction, long story short. That's where we go.
That, okay, she's saying, what value do you hold if you ain't got nothing? So I would say, if we in a situation and I fell off, what I would do is get back up. That's what I would do. But if I'm a man and you meet me initially and I don't have shit, I shouldn't be talking to you. I shouldn't even be trying to date and I'm broke.
Why do you always hold on, I got a question. Why do you always wait till everybody get into an uproar to elaborate on what you have to say? You say
He's been saying that though.
He come in the end.
He's been saying that. He's been saying plot twist.
You know why that happens though? Because I be listening to y'all and y'all.
I don't think you be listening.
No,
I do be listening.
I do be listening to y'all.
Listen.
No, I do be listening to y'all, and it's like this is the way I look. This is what I look at. Like y'all push bullshit narratives. Y'all narratives are straight.
Let the church say amen.
You know what I'm saying?
Let the church say amen.
I know you didn't say that. I know.
Somebody cut
Anybody
his
else
mic
at this
off.
table could have said that shit.
I'm
about to get on your ass real heavy now. Don't do that.
All right, let me talk. I'm the doctor.
Cut his mic
I'm
off.
here to help.
Right. Because baby.
But hear me out. Hear me out.
I'm trying.
Okay, when it comes down to it, let's just tell the truth. Let's just be honest and tell the truth. Just like when
What's the truth, brother? Elaborate.
It's just real simple. Like me, I'm sitting there listening to y'all, and I'm listening to Maul. He like, well, I'm picking a younger woman, and that's because I can mold her and do. And I'm just sitting back, and I'm like, shit, that ain't why I'm picking them. They just prettier. You see what I'm saying?
So basically, what you're saying, none of the women here are pretty. So women here are pretty because we're older.
For me, I wouldn't even want to
Tell the truth.
I don't have the
Answer the question.
Now, the one thing I will say is, listen, obviously he's just identified himself, not him, the other guy, identified himself as somebody who doesn't look for anything of value in the people that he's looking for. So he's got absolutely nothing to add to this debate apart from keeping our community going in the wrong direction, backwards. That's it. Let's move forward. But at least we know now, and thank you for your honesty. Let's go.
Chastity in my mind to deal with the small mindedness.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Do it.
Sabrina,
Get on my damn
ain't-
nerves.
I've been around y'all.
Because who
Ain't-
got the money now? Look, right, brother. Okay. How we talk about wanting a molded out woman. Even if she's older, you still can mold her in a certain way if she cares for you enough.
Thank you.
Don't say mold.
Thank you.
Significantly harder.
Right.
Thank you.
That's how to be who you want her to be.
Hold on. I disagree with you because
don't care.
We don't
hold
care
on.
what
See,
you
that's
talking
why
about.
they single because they don't listen. This is
I
why
disagree
everybody is single.
with them too.
Hold on.
No, I disagree with them too.
with you, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because if she was that amazing woman, she wouldn't have got that age to be single. She'd have been took off the market.
I disagree.
I disagree with that.
I disagree.
How is it that you this kind of a person, you've been alive 40 years and don't nobody want your ass?
Okay,
That says a lot about you.
I disagree. That's not necessarily
Drop the
true.
mic.
That's not necessarily true.
You wrong about that. Let me answer that real quick.
40 years.
I'm gonna answer that real quick. I'm gonna tell you why. Because
No
to touch
husband.
on what Tim said, you only go for what you know, how you've been raised. Secondly, for me personally, I always felt like I never wanted to be married before the age of 30, but I did want to be married before the age of 40, and I still got time because I'm not 40 yet. I'm inching there. Secondly, the reason why I did not want to marry before the age of 30 is because I felt like a man in that age bracket was not ready for marriage. That was my personal thought. Now that
Why
I'm a
don't you get
little
an older
older,
guy?
I can understand the logic in growing with someone, but at that time, because I hadn't seen that you should give somebody the opportunity and grow with them, it wasn't nothing that was on my mind. I just felt like, shoot, the men that I hadn't come across and the men that I didn't seen, they cheat. So let them try to get as much as they can out of their system. Hopefully by the time they hit their mid-30s going into 40s, they kind of slow down a little bit. That's how I looked at it.
So why didn't she, at 25, for example, maybe date a guy that was 32 or 33? You know what I mean? Like, why say to yourself or limit yourself and say, no. I'm going to wait till I'm 30 and then start looking for a man to possibly marry. Right? So my question is, what were you doing in your 20s?
And I just want to comment on that real fast. This is why you
100%, 100%. Well, they look at the age range. You can get married as I think it's 18, I think, or 16 with parental consent in the UK. So if you're old enough to get married, then you're old enough to kind of date the range, really. But if you limit yourself to people within the same kind of age group, say if you're in the UK, yeah, between 18 and 20, yeah, somebody else, a male between 18 and 20 is like husband material, you're joking. What about kind of between 20 and 25? Is he going to be settled in his life? Or those kind of hormones going to be sending him like kind of crazy? Well, not everybody, but the majority are going to be out there playing the field, and they're raised to play the field. So again, those girls, if they're going to be limiting themselves to people immediately to their own age, they're not playing the odds. And then when they get to the 25, they've got 10 years, give or take, maybe a little bit more now, thankfully with modern techniques and the help that you can get, 10 plus years in order to find somebody of great quality and similar interests and things like that, and have that kind of financial potential to sustain a family, and then also have kids, assuming that there's no problems. And that's when they're at the right side of the body clock. But if they kind of want to go traveling and put it into other things, or just want to invest in their girl time and invest in their me time and invest in time out, or I'm not quite ready now, or I've had one failed relationship, I'm going to spend 6 months, 2 months, you probably heard it yourself, a year, 2 years, 3 years, just kind of keeping myself to myself. If they're women, they haven't got that time to waste, and nobody's raising them to say, "No, listen, you need to keep on it." They're just kind of playing on with the fallacy. But anyway, the opportunities to date when you're 40 and single, and say you're wrong side of the body clock, most likely, not definitely, but most likely, going to limit the talent pool, and then you are going to have to probably date somebody who's already got kids, so which adds baggage to that future kind of relationship that you're going to want to have. And you can't ignore that your sexual market value, the other side of the body clock, has gone down. So even if you are gorgeous but you're the wrong side of the body clock, you may well go down from a 7 to something which is closer to average. You know what I mean? You got to accept that, which means you will need to go for a different type of man instead of excluding them all.
because you don't. Hold on. You do not. Hold on. This is why you're not married. If you're not married, you're single. Number one.
Thank you.
Number two. Okay. Number two. Right. You do not dictate your future. God sends a man to find his wife, and this is why most women won't find a husband, because God didn't sent them already, and they wasn't good enough. This is why they single.
Shut your mouth.
God sent your husband already in your life, and he was not good enough for you, because most women date out of their league.
That man was
Every
never
woman
saying
want.
that.
Hold on, no.
Listen,
Every
let me
woman
make-
they don't want to accept that they fives.
Let me
They
make
think
this
they
real
nines.
clear.
Saying that he don't want.
No, I'm gonna
who
make
you
this
like.
real. I'm gonna make this real clear because you seem to talk in the general, and it's not that situation for every female. Just like I said, I double back, and I always tell this to everybody, even to anybody that I talk to. The only reason why I'm not with the man who I feel like God chose to be my husband is because it was long distance. I did what I could to sustain being long distance. However, we're back in the same place. We back in the same place, and I know better now because I have taken the time to grow. I looked at a video today, and this lady said on there, she said, "I love my husband," and that's exactly how this man got me feeling. And I can't wait to be his wife. And I guarantee you, that's where I'm going to be because I learned myself along the way, and I gave him the chance. But see, every man don't put you in a position to talk the way I'm talking. And at the rate you're going and the rate that you're spitting out, I don't see you having a woman in my position where she can tear up about a man that she loved, that loved her because that's what he's shown her.
You said that I won't. Hold on.
I said for what you're spitting.
No, you hold on. Okay, so he was talking about, listen, God put your husband in front of you, in your 40 years on this earth, and you didn't bother to take him up on that offer. Then, just because she didn't understand that point, what she said was, no, there was somebody that I met, but it was long distance, so obviously I couldn't do it. Which actually proves his point. Long story short, she prioritized the distance over her husband and had this kind of delusion of choice. Because that's how life panned out, that it ended up being a delusion of choice. But his point was made, and it's been confirmed by her. She met a man who could have been her husband. She just didn't want to move. Mic drop. Anyway, let's go.
Let's deal with
Please
this.
don't pass it up.
Hold
I
on.
said from what you're spitting out.
Hold on.
I didn't say for who you are.
No,
I said
you
from what
just
you're
said
spitting
that a
out.
man like me won't be able to get a woman like
From
you.
what you're that's in a position like I am, who tears up about a man who she's talking about because he put her in that position.
First of
Please,
all,
if
I
you're
got
gonna
bitches
quote me,
crying over me
quote
every
it
night.
all
You ain't
the
talking that
way.
shit.
Quote
Girl,
it
please.
all the way.
Who she thinks she
Quote it all
talking
the
to?
way.
I don't know.
Who she thinks she...
Listen, I'm not talking specifically about him, but he is right in as much as, listen, she had to make more effort because she's against the body clock, which is a finite amount of time. And if she's at 40, oh my gosh, and it's somebody that was husband material, kind of waved his hand in the air, she should have made that flight. Oh my gosh, in my point of view, if she wants to, this guy again, husband material, which is top bracket, she should have made that flight for that top bracket guy. Because that top bracket guy has got the remainder of his life, however old he is, he's got the remainder of his life to try and find somebody just as good as her, and it doesn't work in the other way around. Now, if she's already the wrong side of the body clock, and she managed to get somebody like hitting jackpot and just say, oh, actually, maybe not, for whatever reason, which happened to be distance, and again, this is how we're raising people, and they won't take ownership of their mistakes as well. It's like, yeah, okay, well, it's just a distance thing, so that was it. No, it's not. No, oh my gosh, in reflection, that was the mistake that I made. So I'm not trying to lead other people astray, but that is not where they're coming from, regardless of failures. Oh my gosh, anyway.
You. And if you don't understand what I'm saying, you're exactly what I'm saying.
Wait, let's get some order. Let's get some
exactly
order.
what I'm saying, because what I said
Man, that shit don't mean nothing.
what you're projecting, no woman in her right mind is going to look at that as husband material. I did not once say that's who you are.
So you don't think I can find a... You don't think I can marry a mother right now?
Not the way you're talking.
Not the way.
All y'all are delusional.
The way you're talking.
Delusional. All y'all are delusional. I can marry... I can marry 6 hoes tomorrow.
Where?
Who y'all talking to,
But he
man?
said hoes.
Y'all got me
You
fucked
didn't
up.
say women.
What the man? You talking to Mac Mall? Y'all got, man. And first of all, I want to say this about Kim. First of all, I've been around Kim for a nice amount of time, and one thing I can say about her is she date on her level. She really does. She don't have these extravagant ass expectations. So that I can't give her that. She's not one of those women that think that she deserves something more than what it is. She actually dates in her league, and that I can commend you.
Thank you.
And on top of that, you will find a husband thinking like that. You will. And I give you your kudos.
And that's why I said, I wasn't saying this was you. I said what you're projecting out.
No, I get it.
Because I know a different you than on camera.
No, I get that. But we selling views. Look.
Sorry, I
Selling views.
But yeah, the problem, and that's why I said the problem is a lot of women pass over the man that they were supposed to be with because they think they're worth more than they really are. And this is why I always stress the fact that men have more options than women, because we are willing to date down. We're not necessarily concerned if you make more money or as much money as us. So we have a percentage of all women while y'all picking through 5% of niggas. We looking at 100% of women. Everybody.
that's
The
a
White Castle worker.
5%.
We looking at the lawyer, the
What makes
judge.
you say that?
That's true.
It's only
The
5%.
majority of
Shame on you for
men
saying that.
of
I did mention in a different video that I predict the future, right? I'm predicting the future right now. Every single one of these women on this panel, and there's so many panels, you can replicate it 1,000 times, have absolutely no focus on body clock. No focus whatsoever. There's a few sprinkles. I'm talking about the majority, obviously. And that is led by this modern feminism. I haven't got a problem with feminism because it's about equality, but there's this modern version right now, which is based on delusion. At some point, they will have to accept the reality, and we're moving towards that already. We're already, I think, inequality in most industries. In the industry that I'm in, for the duration I'm in housing, all the managers, including the very, very senior managers, have been women and currently are women. You know what I mean? They can say that going back. So is that equality, or is that that's evidence of balance for me in my lived experience? Long story short, but what I'm really saying is, going forward, it's going to be from a position of equality. But more than that, once they actually factor in that it's their thing to lose and that their sexual market value will go down considerably once they go the wrong side of the body clock, which is number one way to look at it. And if they ever want to have kids, then they need to be serious about it earlier, just so they can try and catch a guy at the height of a high caliber before they're all gone and time runs out. There's no point in leaving it until you kind of, say if it was 35, which Kevin Samuels used to say about the body clock threshold, for various reasons. You don't leave it till 34 and a half years old now, do you? And you may not find him at 33 or 32 because you might need a little bit more time. And maybe you've got a filter. Of course you do. So what I'm saying is, given that the women are against the body clock, I predict in the future that they will be the ones which have to kind of hurry men along and at least be 50-50 in approaching a man. I'm not saying that's what I want it to happen. That's what I think is going to happen. Again, if they want to have kids in the future and have a heterosexual long-term relationship, because the wrong side of the body clock, it may well be they got such a small proportion of men that the only thing that you can get is the booty call men. And they're not serious about, and I'm not talking about everybody, because if they've already got kids, it makes it much more likely they may actually be interested in a relationship. But if they don't, and again, I'm not talking about everybody, there's a chance that man, he genuinely wants a family, and if she can't deliver it, then really just genuinely wants a hookup, and whatever he's saying, you know what I mean? And that is all about not prioritizing things at the right time. That's why I made my prediction about the future, that more women will be more proactive about asking men out and financing a date. And when they go to college and university, is to get that money to finance that date towards to meet that man before their time runs out and things like that. We will watch this space with interest, but I think it will be within my lifetime. We'll see.
men,
There's plenty of men out here.
where they at?
They all around.
Yeah.
No, they're not.
They just don't be where they be.
Right,
That's
like
all.
they're all
They don't
around.
be nowhere.
That go that bullshit narrative.
All right, guys, so there you have it. Okay, so let me know what you guys think in the comment section. Okay, shout outs to the real ones that stuck it out to the very end. I would imagine this one is pretty long. But let me know what you guys think about this. Okay, I'll definitely leave a link in the description. Okay, sometimes y'all are saying, oh, where can I find the original? It's in the description. Okay, it is in the description for your convenience. I'm just saying. Okay, but let me know what you guys think. Give me some feedback. And until next time.
Yeah, I think there's been enough on this one in 2 parts. Oh my God. Then I will also leave the link in the description. So please like, subscribe. I appreciate it. I thank you for, just sticking it out to the end and supporting the channel. Please also support that with a like and subscribe if you haven't already. Sorry for the croaky voice. I'm losing it. Losing the voice, not the mind. Please like, subscribe. That is Stephen.